button right about
Is there a way? Is there a way to see all 5 of us? I can only see 4 at a time. It looks like.
Hey, Engin, what's up? I see Engin now. What up, Engin?
Hey, Cobra, how are you?
I'm good, brother. How's the arm?
Yeah, it's no good. It's no good, but let's see. I think I'm too late to have surgery, but let's see.
Okay, well, we're tied then, because my arm's no good either. So perfect.
And I'm hoping.
Are you still trying to make a comeback?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm playing with it. I'm gonna beat some people. I guarantee you that. I'm going to pin someone. Someone's gonna feel the pain.
Yeah, who is he? Who is he?
I have to get over these baby pins.
Who is he?
Anybody can get it. Anybody that wants some smoke.
Get some.
Oh, so you are serious about it, huh?
Yeah. Because my kids want to see it too. So I'm like, let me give it one more shot. If my arm turns into Conor McGregor's leg, so be it. You know.
Hey, listen, you're never too old, dude.
No, my cardio is pretty good too.
You should give an example from arm wrestling. The Engin's bicep, you should say.
Hey, that is, you're breakable now, Engin. Didn't used to be, dude, but breakable now. I should probably introduce the show, actually. Bearing in mind we've been live for about a couple of minutes now, and I haven't, in fact, done that. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arm Wrestling Old School. Alongside myself, the fat lad Neil Pickup, I am joined by a legendary cast of old motherfluffers. And Eric. Now, let me walk you through exactly who we've got on this call, and I'm going to go in order of greyness. First up, hailing from Turkey, where he's currently recovering from a knackered bicep after, at the age of 175 years old, challenging one of the best middleweights in the world and was doing very well until his arm let go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Angry Turk, the Enigma of Rage, my very own mother fluffer, Engin Terzi. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Boom.
Yay.
Now, this is a toss-up, but because Rhodes has his hat on, I'm going to go with him next. Ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom of your screen, or at least at the bottom of mine, is another legendary figure from the sport of arm wrestling. We don't even know where that song's been. Not interested in them stories. Keep them to yourself, son. This man was the first global superstar in the sport of arm wrestling. He hails from the United States of America. He's fast approaching his 200th birthday. And his name is Andrew Cobra Rhodes.
Hey, everybody in YouTube land. What up, Bob, Eric, Engin,
What up?
Fat Lad?
Yeah,
Hey, Neil, I remember you before you had pubes, buddy.
yeah. Remember me before I had back tits. I got some funny, mate. I've got some funny stories in a minute. They are real quality. But first of all, let me introduce these last two hombres on my call. First of all, Bobby Brown, the greyest of the very grey. He's so grey that he looks like he was born in a polar region and was given the hair for camouflage purposes.
Yes.
Now, Bob, who's oldest, you or Cobra?
I think Cobra is a little bit older. I am 55 and will be 56 in September.
Yeah, I got him by 6 months.
Yep. See, getting old. Now, just
and John has me by 6 months.
A little bit out of place, I think you'll agree, guys, with the shiny teeth, tan, and fully dark hair is the Encyclopedia of Arm Wrestling from Canada. Part of the Green Machine, it's Eric Roussin.
Hey.
Hey, Eric.
Hi, everyone.
We need him. We love him.
Hey, everybody needs a bit of Eric. Now, Eric, we've moved forward the last time we met here on the old school, and I think we were approaching 2010.
Yeah, but just before we get into that, just because we're talking about birthdays and ages, I know I watched a recent video, I think earlier this week. You were wondering about Todd Hutchings and John Brzenk, their exact ages. I'll just mention, so Todd is 55. John will be 57 tomorrow. interesting thing about John Brzenk turning 57 tomorrow is that Bill Sinks is also turning 57 tomorrow. And here's the weird thing, is that they're both from McHenry, Illinois, which is a small town, about 6,000 people in the mid-60s, almost sort of like twins separated at birth type situation. It's very, very weird to me that they're the exact same age, born in the same town. So just giving that information, because I thought it was interesting.
I think it's
So
very
Eric, is what you're saying possibly that, well, maybe Bob would have some intel that John Brzenk Sr. maybe has another son? Their heads are shaped similarly.
I will. Yeah. No.
Bob?
I always go off head shape when you're looking at somebody's kid. He's got a marble-shaped head as well. Is he yours?
Bob, what's the intel?
There's no intel there. Nothing.
Yeah.
Cobra. Not
But
right.
back on track, yes. Last time we covered sort of late 2000, 2005, 2009. So I thought we'd start at 2010 around there, which to me, I actually refer to the whole 2010s as sort of the renaissance of arm wrestling for a couple of reasons. The return or the huge growth in prize money experienced over the decade, and as well as production value stepping up on a lot of different organizations. So it was really a good time to be an arm wrestler if you were, especially the middle part of the decade. And one of the flag posts that I use is Robert Drenk starting the UAL summer of 2010. That event in Venice Beach, while it wasn't huge money, it was a big spectacle, at least from a U.S. tournament perspective. He had a lot of 4-man super match sort of mini battleground events going on, as well as the pro tournament, and it did attract a lot of the top North American pullers, as well as a few Europeans. So I really see that really kicked off. He was the first of the bigger promoters to emerge at about 10 years ago. And he hosted 2 or 3 tournaments a year in those years. I don't know. Were any of you at those events? The early Robert Drenk UAL tournaments?
I didn't go to the first one at Venice Beach, but I think I went to pretty much every other.
Okay.
Same here. I didn't go to the first one, but I went to probably all the others.
The first one. Have you got the date of the first one there, Eric? Because I seem to recall
July 2010.
Yeah, I think it was timed very, very close to our nationals. And that's probably the reason I didn't go there. But I'll just knock over a couple of super chats, mate, and we'll come back on that because it's a hell of an event. And obviously had a very, very big, significant match there, the headline match there, which I'm sure we can all chuck in a few thoughts. First of all, the main man, super chatter of the channel, is none other than Stephen Pena. Dude, how you doing? And he's got a bit of feedback on Bob's stuff here. He's just put, hey, Robert, has Craig fixed the keeping his elbow on the pad problem? Has he got it sorted out? Because you've been doing a lot of work with him, haven't you, Bob?
With Craig?
Yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But it nailed.
His elbow will stay down. I mean, he's used to hitting so violently that the reality is he brings his elbow up without even knowing it, just to hit harder sideways. So his elbow skimming across the pad doesn't slow his elbow down, because a lot of the pads that we have, they're squishy and you just can't move your elbow around on them or you'll get caught up in a squishy pad. But yeah, that problem will be solved. That'll have nothing to do with what happens against Dallas.
So that's the first part of it. Stephen's also Neil, I can't wait for John Brzenk versus Chance. And he's capped it off with, I love you, Engin and Cobra. Yeah, great to have Engin and Cobra on the show as well. Shellac Nelson, thanks for your super chat, brother. Also, he's put, hey, Neil, I love you. What are Engin's thoughts on Devon Larratt right now? Well, I can, as Engin's technical advisor, I'll start this question by answering for him initially. He fucking hates him. Then I'll actually ask Engin that question. Engin?
Is he asking about what I think about him personally or as an arm wrestler?
You got to go both, mate. You can't do something as deep as you've just done there and not answer. So
I
we'll
mean,
start with personal.
Devon, you called me one day and you wanted I and Devon to talk and fix the misunderstandings. Remember?
I remember it well, mate.
Then we made a Zoom meeting, and then he expressed himself, I expressed myself, and then we fixed the problem. I don't have any problem. I and Devon has been friends for like about 20 years. He's a good, friendly guy. I don't agree with him about everything in arm wrestling, but he's very knowledgeable. One of the best guys, one of the best top 10 guys ever, without weight limit. I don't know which place I would rank him, but he's for sure, he's a smart guy, he's powerful guy, he's technical, well-rounded, just like a great arm wrestler, As a person, I and him have always been good friends, except the something that I don't know how it happened, and then good that, it's fixed. I think there's nothing to add,
But it's what the important thing there. Hopefully, Shalak, that answers your question, mate. And yeah, from my personal perspective, it's great that the lads have patched up any differences because, yeah, been friends for a very long period of time. And when you're friends with both men, it does make life pretty difficult in that respect. So I'm really pleased that they patched up the differences. And also, it sets up in the presence of greatness. Putting the band back together. Yes.
Looks like it never happened,
Yeah, you go.
Right.
And maybe in a couple of years we can get Devon on here with us, Engin, because he's also getting pretty grey right now. I don't know whether you've noticed on his recent. Yeah, have you noticed? Good bit of grey going on there. He needs to get himself on the old school. That's how we roll. Now then, a couple more that we just got to knock over real quick. Joe the Hammer Valentine. Thank you for your super chat, mate. He just put, Neil, I saw you the other day on Uncle John and Gary. You put the mount in Sermon on the Mount. God bless you, mate. Now, it's funny you should say that because I took lessons from Cobra Rhodes and Bob Brown on that topic. Ignore that, lads. Don't check in and tune in or check out that video. It's a waste of your time, waste of your life that you'll never get back. When myself and Gary had a little bit of a rumble. So you don't need that in your life. But anyway, moving on with that one. And last but by no means least, Joe Mama. Mate, how's it going? And he's just come in with a quick super chat. Neil, always your #1 fan. But this message is for Engin. Engin, hope you recover quickly. You're everything. Is everything all right with your arm wrestling? And he's also put, sorry, you are everything right with arm wrestling. I mean, I disagree with that. I think your aggression and anger levels are off the scale. And you probably need to calm that down on occasion, but I still love you.
What did he say? What was the question?
This guy, he's Joe Mama, may have been having a drink or something. He says that he believes that you are everything right with arm wrestling. What's that about? What's that about? Hey?
Everything right about arm wrestling?
Yeah.
He's saying that everything, he thinks you're great at arm wrestling.
In every way.
Saying you are arm wrestling. He loves you in arm wrestling.
Oh, okay.
You're great.
Yeah. So there is not actually a question. Yeah, okay.
This
My
is a
bicep.
Engin.
My
This is
bicep.
a compliment.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a question, so I didn't know what to say. My bicep is partially teared, and I don't know. Some people suggest me to have surgery. Some doctor says no need. It will be okay. For now I didn't have surgery, but I'm considering. I will just. Maybe I'm too late, but let's see. How it will be. Thank you to the guy for the positive thoughts about me.
Thank you, Joe Mama. Much appreciated, mate. Thanks for the super chat and the support for the channel. So, Venice Beach and the birth of the UAL. Let's be honest, talk about coming out with a bang. I mean, he did it right. In a great place, I mean, the day was perfect in every way.
Yep.
The headline match, two of the greatest arm wrestlers who've ever done it, in my opinion. I mean, I think everybody can say we know these guys extremely well for different reasons and in different ways, but Jerry Cadorette and John Brzenk, And I've been given a bit of abuse for saying that I believe that Jerry Cadorette is underrated. A comment that I stand by. Some newer guys say, "Oh, you know, he's not that good. Jerry ain't that good." I disagree entirely. I think Jerry Cadorette is absolute nails.
Absolutely. So here's the thing with Jerry Cadorette and that flop wrist press that he does is, even amongst the arm wrestlers here on this show, how often do you ever train against a flop wrist presser?
You know, usually we don't really have so much problem if we have a healthy elbow. But once you are opponent with Jerry, you really need to prepare so good, because in my opinion, Jerry is the best ever about what he is doing. Yeah, like there are best top rollers, best this, but whenever you say that the flop wrist shoulder press, the first name in last probably 25 years that will come to your mind is Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably since Bobby Hopkins, I think. When Bobby Hopkins was in that position, it was pretty nasty, but Jerry took it to another level.
Right. And think about that, Cobra. You had to go back, Bobby Hopkins, you had to go back 40 years, right? You know, to get someone as good. And if you don't train against the flop wrist presser of that magnitude, when you finally come up against someone who just has the courage to dive in and, you know, forgo his arm, I mean, you're just not going to stop it. You're not going to stop it. I mean,
now talk about man of the moment, guys. Just who's popped up in the super chats in our chat right now is Mr. Chance Shaw.
Oh,
and
prodigies. Yeah.
Man of the moment. And he's put, "What's up, guys? I hope everything's doing great. Tell Cobra to text Travis back."
Okay.
Tell me all about that, Cobra. What's going down in your town? So.
Tell Travis, I'm gonna give Travis the old Dustin Poirier. It's my entire booty hole. Tell him 10 flowers. I'll think about texting him back. That trip.
Drawing on
the. I love you, Chance. Good looking out, but tell Travis to get on it.
Let's talk about Chance a little bit here, guys, because this is a fella who's hunting down the Ginger Dread man as we speak. He's looking for that match, and in the match at Venice Beach, interestingly, we saw John Brzenk, known for his hand and wrist control, known for pretty much every aspect of arm wrestling. But if you had to point to one area where he was exceptional, the hand and wrist were for me the key, and astronomically powerful when he set those into any position, whether he was going for the hook, whether he was in that defensive top roll, and yet he was unable to drive through Jerry. Give us a couple of stats on the match there, Eric. I mean, you may have timings or score.
Well, I think that was the final of that 4-man thing, and it was a 2 out of 3, I believe. And John actually did bring him back in that. From using a top roll from that defensive top roll, he did bring him over for one win. So Jerry won 2-1, but It's very rare that you see someone stop Jerry in that position and come back for it. It took him about a minute or two to do it, but it was an unbelievable display.
Well, and that was the deciding factor. That was the big factor in that match. I mean, at the end of the day,
commitment.
A long time ago, endurance came as a bigger part into the sport, and you have a 3-minute match and, it's John's bicep going through, a minute-long match versus Jerry's entire shoulder, lat, back, much bigger muscle group. John ran out of gas. I mean, in my opinion, pure and simple. John pulls Jerry fresh. And even on that day, if there was a 10-minute break in between each match, John wins every one. Every match, he beats him. But with a 1-minute break or 2-minute break, whatever it was, he ran out of gas. Yeah. I mean, that, in my opinion, that's the only reason he lost to Jerry. But we talk about this because we're bringing up Chance Shaw now. Now Chance, in my opinion, against Jerry, is a greater threat against Jerry than Devon Larratt is, than Michael Todd is, than a lot of other people are, because I still think he'll take Jerry's hand. I still think he'll stop Jerry. But what gives Chance a better edge than the other guys is he now has a shorter arm. His arm is shorter. He will be able to get closer to his body because his arm is shorter, and possibly he'll have more leverage and more pressure coming sideways with that shorter arm once Jerry's wrist is flopped than a guy with a taller arm. And so from a leverage advantage, he'll have it. And he clearly has the strength to possibly pull it off and pin him.
Now, I disagree with the first part of that comment, though. When you said the greater threat than Devon. I don't believe that's the case.
Well,
I think because Devon can meet him arm on arm, and I don't believe.
Yeah, no, I meant that in a very specific manner. So I'll correct myself. I meant that only if top roll, getting the hand, once he has the hand in that traditional move where we all assume that's where the match is going to go against Chance. Yeah. Hook, once you add in all the other equations, yeah, Devon's got a better chance of beating Jerry. But I just meant in this one specific way that I feel we all believe is going to go. Chance is not going to try to hook him. He's not going to try to shoulder roll him. He's going to top roll him, take his hand, and try to go sideways.
I think Chance will end up in a comfortable position because he's a very, very good arm wrestler, and it's not hard to get there with Jerry. The difference is going to be whether or not he. Sorry, go Engin.
Are we talking about here mainly, Jerry versus Chance, or Chance versus John? We're gonna talk.
We're talking Jerry versus Chance at the moment. So, if you in the match at Venice Beach, are you familiar with that match, Engin? The John and Jerry in the UAL, the Venice Beach match, where 3 matches, most of the time, John was hanging back in his defensive top roll while Jerry just crushed away on him. Now, for me, John was a far stronger man at that time than Chance potentially is now. And with a few more angles. So it's interesting it's a tremendous opportunity for Chance Shaw to, should he get that match, which I believe that Jerry's interested in.
But
Jerry to really set his stall out and impress the world.
Have Jerry pulled Chance in a serious competition yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but just remember, like what you see Jerry like in training and what you see Jerry at the UAL final or the WAL hammer match, we're talking about very different Jerrys we're talking about.
Extremely different Jerry.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that, best form of Jerry would beat the current Chance.
I agree.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that it will still happen in the future, because the guy progresses very quickly. Yeah.
And Chance is a puppy. He's 23 years old. My God.
Ugh. Yeah.
I will jump in. The one thing about Chance that I see, which Jerry in his matches is stuck. It's pretty much one-dimensional if he's in a match. And I think that kid Chance has the opportunity to make moves on him. He's big and strong enough, and he doesn't. It's obvious the kid eats nails for breakfast. He has no fear. So I think if he gets any kind of position outside, he can whittle away and go to work on Jerry if he has the courage.
I like that you made that point, Cobra, because I wanted to sort of illustrate the magnitude of this for Chance. Should he do that?
And what I've seen from a million guys pulling Jerry is they're always running away from his power. There comes a time in that match where you have to come to him.
Yes.
And you have to pin him, because any guy that 99 out of 100 times, if you're running away with that top roll that just keeps getting worse and worse by the second because of his pressure, you're going to end up getting pinned in that old amateur style. Looks good for the crowd, but you're done after that.
Yeah. I think your pronation doesn't mean much. Your pronation doesn't mean much because he already gives his wrist to you. So you are hanging on with your brachyradialis, which is even weaker than bicep. And then again,
so what you have to do is give to get with him. You give to get with him and start taking more towards him. You're hurting him in on that joint. That's what a strong guy can do.
You know, when
has the tools.
When people are pressing this way, they are involving their tricep. So instead of just pulling them, if you would control their pronator and turn them this way, now their tricep is not working to win inside but lose inside. So the main key, once you take the wrist, then you need to turn the pronator to this way so that he can't use the tricep anymore. The tricep now is losing to the losing side. I mean, working to the losing side. So the main key, not only this, but mostly to control his pronator, and then even a little bit roll his bicep to make his angle wider, and then he won't be able to apply pressure. They are just attacking the hand. He doesn't care about it. He gets the pressure from here. So you need to separate the forearm from the shoulder where the source of the pressure. You need to
correct.
And from that separation, like what I'm trying to do is put my shoulder, my competing shoulder, right on top of his wrist.
Yeah.
And if you're strong enough, that'll win the match.
After you control
and make sure that your arm stays on the joint between his hand and his wrist. Because once the really good tricep pressers, they want a point of balance. I'm glad Engin made that point because I was just going to take it there, exactly the same point. Basically, if Chance, what I'm interested here is whether or not Chance is that well-rounded. Because at this point in time, Chance hasn't either had the ability to do that or the opportunity is a better word to do that, because he is a fast finisher. He is a very good top roller. And we've not seen him in enough trouble in his matches. He tends to finish people quickly unless he's completely and utterly outgunned. And most in his recent past, he's not really been outgunned by anybody he's faced. And the ones that have gone into that position with him have been top rollers. He took a loss to Robbie Burnett, who was a quick, ball-handed, very high-knuckle top roller. Now, it'd be really interesting to me to see, Cobra talked about courage, be interesting to me to see if he can stay in the match and if he's prepared to ride the bone of Jerry, ride the joint of Jerry, stay onto that wrist and hand. Has he got the strength to do that? Has he got the balls to do that? And has he got the well-roundedness to do that? Because few people have. The big thing with Jerry is his speed off the start for a dead wrist presser is perhaps his most unusual feature, because he really is aggressively attacking off the start. Right. So your autopilot is to, I can get his hand and wrist, so I'm just going to fall back into this position. But with someone like Jerry, there's so much immediate force unless you're prepared to try and keep him onto your A side. You need to try and attack and not let him find a balance point. The balance point that Engin spoke about there is critical. So I was going to pick up on the fact that, you may feel like your pronator is useless in the extremes, but the control of the pronation and supination, I think, is critical. And my concern is whether Chance has the ability to actually control the pronation and supination to that level. And the answer is, I don't know. I've not seen him tested at that kind of level with anybody who's close in terms of strength. He's always been either run over or murdered the guy.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately,
Go ahead, Cobra. Sorry, I didn't see you.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm just muting in and out. Is my sound all right when I'm in?
Yes,
because, I'm at the grocer.
Oh,
I've got a cart full of things here. I guess you can't see it.
Grant, can you?
Yeah, I'm at the grocer.
Lovely darts. Cool.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Armwrestling Old School brought to you live. Cobra in aisle 7.
Actually, I'm in aisle 20.
Aisle 20. Nice.
Yeah.
So we
what I was saying is, I have no doubt that Chance is watching this right now and writing down notes. Oh, I got to work on this. I need to do this, because we're pretty much giving him a blueprint on how to beat Jerry.
But it takes enormous courage, doesn't it, Bob? Because particularly in the strap, I think, if you say, okay, well, he's going to end up if he's got anywhere near If he's anywhere in the proximity from strength, they're going to end up in a strap. But from experience pulling Jerry, the difference of Jerry in the strap and the difference of Jerry outside the strap is really, really significant. And his level of confidence and commitment and speed in the strap is really significant. So I don't know whether Chance is close in terms of the strength game off the start.
So let me say this. And first, this is for Chance. One, Google search the match, which you've probably already seen it, between Jerry Cadorette and Jason Vale. Go find that match, look at it, watch it. But in my opinion, Chance is not going to beat Jerry, because even with all the tools, even with all the knowledge, you are never going to slam Jerry Cadorette, in my opinion. You're never going to slam him. And if you don't, it turns into an endurance game.
Unless you can take him directly to the side and get him off position. And I don't see, and let you know,
I don't see that happen.
The power of doing that.
Right. So at the end of the day, you know, Chance is young, he's strong, he's going to have all the knowledge, he's going to have all the moves, he's got to get the position, and then it's going to come down to endurance, and Jerry's going to win, in my opinion. So
interesting one.
He is stronger once he gets the hand control, and against Jerry he will have the hand control, but the I don't know if he has the ability to find out the finishing move or not. But when you mentioned about Jason beating Jerry, most likely it was a New York event. Most likely. Yeah. So those in those New York events, the Jerry you see there, and then the Jerry you see in some different events are different Jerry. So I think the best of Jerry, I don't think Jason could beat him either. I mean, in such a New York event, I think even Chance has chance to beat him. It depends how big the thing is that Jerry wants to reach.
Yeah. The reason I said to look at that match was because it's kind of a blueprint on your attack. I'm not saying it'll work. You're right. The best version of Jerry, I think, beats the current Chance, which is the best version of Chance. And Jerry is way stronger than then. This version of Jerry would beat the Jason Vale. I'm just saying if you want to learn technically how to go again, that's
even Jason beats him. Jason's training, probably, I didn't see how Chance trains, but Jason's training, Jason's pulling style is different. Once, like you see someone that, beating, just say Zoloev in hook, and then if you tell me to beat Zoloev in hook because someone else beats him, it's not gonna fit me, you understand? So when you try to find a way that, you give an example, that may not be the best option for another person.
Right. Well, it could be. I just think
it could be or could not be. We don't know. Yeah. But what I see with the Chance is that it is easier to beat. It is easier to beat Chance with an outside move than inside, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I just watched him versus Ryan Bowen. I see that this guy has incredible hand control, but once if someone I call front wrist, you guys call probably riser, when they have a good one and then loading up, and then once he little bit loses hand control, he's not as effective. But I don't know how much he improved from that time to this time. Looks like he improved a ton.
Yeah,
but sometimes your weakness, even it improves, still is your weakness. You understand? Even you improve everything, that place, and especially it is not so easy to build this kind of strength. It's easier to build bicep, upper body, big muscles, but the hand and wrist. But whenever I see that, he little bit had trouble with the Don Underwood. Whenever he went, his wrist was like a little bit, like Don Underwood's back pressure a little bit stopped him. See, what I think that if John somehow gets that opportunity to stop him in a neutral position, he will have much more tools to use it against Chance.
Yeah.
So I read somewhere that people said that, you know, maybe John should have a low grip, and that would be a suicide for John.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think that, but we are not talking about best John.
To Chance at all.
Yeah, the best John,
idea hanging on
but best John would do that as well. But the John that we talk about now may not be able to do that. So a good riser and then back pressure, for sure, Chance is going to meet someone better than Ryan Bowen. I know he is in better shape right now as well, but I believe that, you know, a good front wrist and a high top roll will cause some problems. But it's if we go to the John Brzenk versus him, it is all up to John's shape. If John would be near 90%, 85, 90% of his 2015 shape, and then I think Chance has no chance.
I would agree.
But lower than that, anything can happen. John predicted correct. John said that, you know, they will both go outside. The one that has better handling, wrist handling, will take the match and easily win, you know. Yeah.
Yes, and I think John is going to have the better wrist. I think as when we talk about John's shape, his hand and wrist has never really left him. His hand and wrist are still absolutely at the 85 or 90% range of what it was, his hand and wrist. It's his shoulder that is the problem. But I agree with Engin. Once John takes control of Chance's hand and wrist, the shoulder isn't going to matter.
Yeah, but he doesn't even have to take the control. Even if it stops him in a neutral position, they are equally positioned. There, John will not make mistake. He will win by experience if the strength level is close to each other. This is my opinion. But remember, even you have strong hand, you need to the back pressure. You know, your wrist and hand solidness will not put enough pressure your opponent's hand and wrist. You also need to support it with the what's behind the hand and wrist here. So he needs to have that arm strength as well to keep Chance wrist in a neutral position. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. Guys, we've got some super chats backing up, so I'll just knock these over and I want to come back to that if we can. First of all, Tristan Hinderlitter, thanks for your super chat, mate. Much appreciated. He's just put, and I think this is going to be particularly of interest to you, Eric. He's put, I've seen some elite grip strength athletes do a strict curl with a 45-pound plate. Just curious if Eric or the other guys on the show had tried that.
Yeah, so a strict plate curl. So plate curl, for those who don't understand, is you're picking up a plate using a pinch. You're pinching a plate by its side, so you're picking up in that grip, and you're curling it like that. So all of the weight is far, you know, at the top, you know, is really on the tips of your fingers. So it helps if you have long fingers first. You need a very strong wrist. A strict 45-pound plate. I've only seen video of one person consistently doing it in the grip world, a guy by the name of Adam Glass. It's extremely, extremely difficult. I can do multiple repetitions with a 35-pound plate. A 45-pound plate, more people have done it, but not strict. By strict, I mean the wrist stays straight. I've seen people able to curl a plate, but their hand is like bent back, which to me is not the same thing. But if you can keep your wrist straight through the whole movement, I've only seen one person do it. I'd be curious to see some of the top arm wrestlers attempt it, but a 45-pound plate, it's not an easy feat. Not an easy feat.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. I tried it once when I was younger. I realized it was never going to happen. I quit immediately.
Now, we got another super chat from the wonderfully titled Wilma Dick Fit.
Oh, God.
Brilliant. Maybe, what is the weight class they will be pulling, or does Brzenk not care what Chance will weigh? What weight do you think Brzenk will come in at for the match? Well, I think, I honestly think that Brzenk will be losing weight, trying to get his weight down.
That's correct.
I spoke to John the other day on the phone, and he was telling me that he was trying to drop sort of quite quickly. He reckoned he would be dropping 10 pounds every week or so. So I don't know, Bob, you may know. I don't think he will give two shits where the hell Chance is at. I think
no.
I also think Chance, to be honest, hasn't got time to really amend his weight a great deal. I think it's like show and go, really.
Yeah, Now, John won't care what Chance weighs at all. John is in the process of losing weight for ultimately in October pulling David Dadakov or whatever it is. And that one's at 209. So John is in the process of trying to get closer to 209.
What's his weight now?
I'm going to guess it's about 230 would be my guess.
But why he needs to lose 10 pounds every week or something, you know, like, I mean, 10 pounds every week. In October, he will be 30 pounds or something.
Yeah, no, I think Neil
until he gets to his weight.
Neil was exaggerating. He's probably trying to lose, 2 pounds a week or 1 pound a week. But, in the beginning, John's got a lot of beer weight on him. So just quit drinking beer. He'll probably drop 10 pounds. Yeah.
I am sure that he knows how to lose fat without losing muscle, I mean, if he doesn't know that, then, I mean, come on.
He knows the weight will mean, between him and Chance, the weight will mean nothing. The fact that he's losing weight, in my opinion, won't mean anything. It's still going to come down to his hand, which will be fine. I mean, I am super excited to see what Chance will become in the future. I think he has the ability to become a super monster. But in my personal opinion, ironically, his name is Chance, and I feel he has no chance against John.
I have a question. How big is his hand, Chance's hand? Is it small hand for a super heavyweight or big hand?
Small.
Small, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a small hand, but it's probably small for a super, isn't it? He's got a
That's what I meant.
Yeah, he's got a decent sized hand, but he's not got an excessively big hand. It's just it's decent. It's decent.
Yeah, like, do you think his hand size would be a problem if in the future he would pull with someone like Levon?
Well, that's yes is the quick answer, which is why you always see Chance going to the straps, because his hand isn't big enough to deal with Levin or anyone with a really huge hand. He relies solely on his.
Well, I'm just going to say, I don't know whether it will be a problem for him, because I don't think it's going to change his style at all. I don't think Chance is ever going to be your containing arm wrestler. I don't think he's going to ever be the guy that hangs on to people. I think he's the guy that hits people and sets traps for people.
Yeah.
So I don't, I mean, it's only like Gary Goodridge didn't have a big hand at all. I mean, I'm taking the piss out of me. He said, it makes my knob look massive. But at the end of the day,
he learned how to top roll.
Dude, did he just? Yeah, he could top roll, and he was hit. He hit and top rolled Cleve Dean. And if you want to see hands, holy, Cleve Dean had big hands. I mean, ridiculous. It was crazy. But just knock over a couple of quick super chats before I lose them on here. Harold A. Larson, thanks for your super chat, brother. Really appreciate the support. He's put, in sumo wrestling, the top dogs take on the best up-and-comers in every tournament. It keeps the sport pure and honest. Now, I tend to agree with that a little bit, and I don't want us to head down the route of, the boxing thing where the guys spend all the time avoiding each other. Chance has spoken at length about that stance. I spoke to Chance at length about that yesterday, and he makes, as he usually does, he articulates his points very well, and he's got a stance on that, and you've got to respect it. It's one I completely disagree with, but he's got an angle there, so you've got to respect it that he wants to stick with it. Joe Mama coming with a super chat. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated your super chat there. He's put, Neil, not to change the subject, but I have to ask, after the RVJ MTT training video, what does Engin predict for RVJ versus Sasho at Armwars Reality Check?
Good question. It is not easy to predict without knowing their current shapes, but I think that the match will go to strap. I know Ravvijan has some hand control and size and strength to not to allow some people to go to strap and just press them while they are sleeping. So I don't know if Sasho can go to outside, but I think he is very strong and he is able to go to outside lately, except against Zoloev. He was trying to sleep and Zoloev just pressed him sideways. I think once and if it goes to the strap, I think with the side pressure, Sasho will put him inside match. And then we will see. But I will tell you something. It is easier to beat Sasho inside than beat him outside. It doesn't mean that it is easy to beat him inside, but you don't see people top rolling Sasho because his two fingers, same as like Bojidar, and the lower wrist tendon here with the supinated side pressure, incredible. You know, it is, I mean, I haven't seen like pronators enough to handle that pressure. So eventually he puts them in with the side pressure, he puts them in hook. So I believe they will go inside. If without strap, someone is gonna win, it's gonna be Rob in early fresh rounds. I'm not talking about late rounds. But then if it goes to strap, I give the edge to Sasho.
There you go, mate. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Be really interesting match. I was speaking to RVJ online yesterday. I need to catch up with Sasha. We'll have these guys on the show very soon. One more. Sabagels has come in with a super thanks, mate. He's put, for Neil, since Cobra is shopping. I heard of a Cobra comeback. Is this for real? No mean to offend, but can his body take the damage?
It's for real, bro. Back to mute.
You heard it there from the man himself. Yes, it is real. Cobra Rhodes will be back in action. He's planning on being over in the reality check himself. And I'm sure you'll see him all over the show. Now, interestingly, Chance Shaw's just come in with another super chat. Chance, still in the chat. And he's put, my wrist to fingertip is just a smidge over 8 inches. Now, it's important, whenever you're talking about anything in inches, to get that smidge in there. Very important. Mm-hmm.
Well, just over 8 inches actually is not a small hand. That's a longer than average hand. So
yeah, anything over 8 inches, Eric, is slightly larger than average. That's what I tell everyone.
That means his hand is about the size of mine. So
that means his hand is about the size of mine.
Yeah.
Well, half the size of Cobra's.
Exactly.
Hey, honey. Hey, baby. You want to talk inches, huh? Hey, you want to talk inches, big boy?
Back on topic. Oh, dear. Yeah, man. There he is, Cobra Rhodes, the only man who can lie flat in your car and put his head out of the sunroof. Think about that one. Now,
back to mute.
Yeah, another super chat's just come in from HBNSK. Not even going to try and pronounce that. Engin, the video you shared on Facebook. What is the older lady with the big dog talking about? What the?
Yeah, talking about how much she loves dogs and how much they love her, and then something like that. I just wanted to show that there's a dog that from this land, from my country, that's called Kangal, and really huge dog and very friendly. You know, to the wolves, they are
like really huge dog. Like they hunt lions or something, or am I making that up?
Yeah, like I mean, just if they are even with the babies. Even babies would punch them and do anything, pull their ear, everything, you know, they would be like such a friendly, they would never danger. But if the wolves come to the village, those dogs are like fierce, you know, they would never be afraid. They would attack wolves like even there are 10 wolves, you know. So, I mean, that was just a short video, not to give any, another question.
Sorry, just had a message here. This is Ace. Somebody, absolute quality. Somebody's just sent this message in to the private line here. Neil, is it true I saw in the chat you came out as gay? Did I?
Yes.
No,
yes, it's true. Gentlemen, it's true.
Didn't you do that years ago?
Okay. Well, I haven't been looking at any of the chat, but no. I have not come out as gay. Fully enough. Sorry to disappoint, mate. I'm not gay.
No, but remember that article in the paper, Neil, from '96?
Go on.
Oh, that must have been the other wizard.
How drunk was I? Did I come out as gay?
Yeah, you were high as giraffe pussy, buddy.
That's what it's about. Yeah. What can I tell you? No, sorry, mate. I didn't know I'd done that. Amazing what you do when you don't know. No,
Hey,
sorry, dude, not gay.
Neil,
Married with kids.
Neil, I've got the film. I'm gonna release it on my page tonight.
Get it done.
So all you chaps, go on over to Cobra Rhodes.
Get over there to see
See Neil come out.
that particular launch
I believe it
party.
was August 14th,
Probably
1997.
down. He's thrown me a bit. I didn't expect that to come through, but there it is. Okay.
It's all right, babe. I love
Yeah,
everybody.
my missus has just stuck her head around the door. Did you know I'd come out as gay?
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, it's funny. No, I get good messages. What can I tell you? Yeah. So sorry to disappoint, guys. That's not the case. Eric McAtee, thanks for your super chat, mate. I just wanted to say, as a fan, I'm super impressed that both Neil and Engin take the time to respond to Facebook messages. Very cool of you guys. No worries, mate. Thanks very much, Eric. Really appreciate your super chat. And yeah, let's get. It's thrown me that way. What were we talking about before that one came in?
Well, if we get back on track to sort of the 2010, we had the UAL. We talked a bit about what was cool about the UAL is it gave hope to, the Rule of the Nation tournament had come to an end. There were no big annual events in North America around that time. So with Robert Brzenk, a rich guy coming into the sport, taking a liking to the sport and sinking, lots of money into it, it was an exciting time for those who were competitive at that time. But another series that was moving quite a lot in the early part of the decade was the Arm Wars Super Series. And if I think back to December 2010, Sin City, where 4 of us on the call were there, that was quite a spectacle, and some classic matches there. That was something else.
What an event that was! The gathering at the top, the MGM Grand.
Sin City.
Yeah.
Was that when I pulled the steel giraffe?
No,
I think you pulled Luke. Yeah, Luke.
Who?
Luke Kint.
Oh.
It was right after the Worlds, right after you won Worlds.
Yeah, it was the night after Worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You were there.
I won those first 2 matches.
I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that was an incredible event.
Yeah, that was mega. I
mean, Don Underwood was a beast at that event, was he not?
Oh,
In
yeah.
every sense of the word, dude.
Yeah.
I think you had like 5-minute long match with the Kazakh guy some days before that event.
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
World
Shimala,
Championship.
with him. Yeah, I broke 2 ribs in that match, Engin.
Yeah. It was such a long.
He was 18 years old, bro.
Following year, he was in final with Khadzhimurat in Kazakhstan.
I was just going to say that, following the comment that I was about to make on Andy. I was just going to say, and at that time,
For those people that are new to the sport and new to the chat, Cobra was around. He was a strip of a lad at only 157 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
when was that, Eric? Was it 2010? It was 2010, wasn't it?
December
2010.
2010, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Engin, when did we have turkey in Istanbul?
What's that?
2018. When I came to see you in Istanbul, we had turkey. Remember?
2000. Yeah, either to end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere there. Yeah.
I'm trying to get all my
long
dates.
time. You had like a few hours, right? You have a few hours for the next flight. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you should one day you should come here for competition in what way you want, as an athlete or as a guest of honor or whatever you want, you know.
All right, brother. We'll work. Hey, speaking of which, one of the greats, Kurde Nyazi won the election.
Oh, still a few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. You give him my regards.
For those guys that are new to the old school, if you haven't done your research and looked up the Wolf, Kurde Nyazi, check that boy out. The Wolf.
I think he is one of the greatest top rollers.
Mate, he's one of the greatest everything. The Wolf is the king. I absolutely love that mother fluffer. He's iron dick. How can you not love Kurde Nyazi? He's ace.
Everyone loves it. I
Absolute
haven't met
quality.
anyone who hates him.
No.
Even his opponents have so much respect for him.
I have a lot of respect for him.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I remember when you were teasing him at Virginia Beach, actually.
Who?
Was it Virginia Beach or India? It might have been India. It was India, I think. And we were on the practice table, and he came up to try and pull you. He came up with the strap, try and pull you. And every time you pull anybody but him, you were like Chance Shaw with Derek Smith and Cody. You pull anybody, and then Nyazi would come up and he go, Cobra, come on. And you oh, no. And you walk away. And Kurt's come over to me, he's gone.
Cobra scared of me.
No, he would never say that.
He did. I'm telling you now. You go to the Wolf and check it out. You went, Cobra scared of me. And I went, yep, he is.
That was
You don't remember? We're going
that
back.
was the event. See, that was the event that you came out of the closet, Neil. I remember.
That was the time when you, mate. Tell you what,
If Kurt said that, you must have come out the closet.
absolute quality. He says, yes, Cobra, you not pull with me. He pulled with this man.
What a
He
great
pulled with
guy.
this man. He wouldn't pull with it. Wouldn't do it. Okay, doing it on purpose. I thought, oh, you bastard.
Little mental masturbation, you know.
I think that was India. I think it was the same day that we ran over that dude on the way to
In the taxi.
the taxi when we ran over a guy. Well, we didn't. We were in the back. That was bad. We ran over a guy avoiding a cow in India, and it was like, oh, you know. And he got out and he gave the guy a dressing down for being in the way. He was only
Yeah. The driver was pissed at the guy that got hit.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Hey, I remember when we disembarked, when we got off the plane there in India, and we were all lined up outside, and my bag was here, and we had all the drivers just lined up so nice. And one guy just booked from nowhere. I was standing beside Juliet. I don't know who I was standing beside, but this driver wanted Cobra's bag. You know what I mean? He wanted to get my bag. And this guy came running up like out of line, like he was like 7th or 8th in line. And the head of the cab drivers had this stick, and he split dude right down the egg. Bam! Right on his head, that stick. And the guy had to go all the way back to the end of the line. I felt so horrible.
That's pretty goddamn
Don't
harsh.
ever skip line.
Yeah, and you'll get your ass handed to you.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
right
was
now,
the.
Split dude's head. I'm like, Jesus, I'm a cab driver. Why am I getting my ass kicked at work?
That I always remember that event because that was the talking of coming out parties. That was the coming out party of the new Russian kid at the time, and I think it was Hugayev in the men's 80 kilo class, and he took out in the second round. He took out the Crushing Russian, and I remember thinking, who the is this dude?
What year was that?
That
What
was
was that?
1997.
97.
What
Because
happened with the traction? What happened with the Zoloev? Zoloev Kazbek, you mean?
No. Yeah, the Crushing Russian, yeah.
Yeah, what happened? You think he pulled with Hugayev?
Yes.
No.
Hugayev won.
Yeah.
Zoloev got knocked out by the Wolf.
Yeah. Nyazi beat.
Nyazi beat Zoloev and got
twice.
packed by
Twice. And then Hugayev beat Nyazi twice.
Yes.
So Hugayev was first, Nyazi was second, and third place was Kazbek, and the fourth was.
But I can tell you, Engin, before that happened, we were stood at the side of the stage, and neither me or Kurt knew really much about Hugayev. He wasn't the guy that everybody was focused on. We were all thinking the Crushing Russian was the guy.
Yeah.
Kurt beat him. They got drawn real early. It was like second round or third. It was early in the show. And we were like, holy shit, you beat the guy. Yeah,
So-
and he did it quite easy as well. It wasn't like,
he
nailed it,
Yeah.
fisted his hand.
Yeah.
And then a couple rounds later, who the is this dude? Hugayev suddenly, and then obviously he was a
You know, the same Hugayev following year also beat Taras Iwakin in Egypt Wars, 98.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
When Hugayev was winning his matches, we were not looking at the table. I was just closing my eyes, and then from the sound that comes from table, we knew the match was finished because he was not beating them. He was hitting them to the table surface like, you know.
But he was one of those guys that one of the great underrated arm wrestlers. There's been a couple that are really notable that have made a very, very lasting impression on me. And he's one of those guys. The other one would be obviously Gennady Kvikvinia.
Yeah.
God.
You know, the young guys, today's guys doesn't know, but who is like when you go to WAF World Championships right now, who is the man the most popular? Probably right now is Zoloev.
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah. So when Zoloev is walking around, people look at him or something. See, when Cobra's prime time, when Cobra was in the competition venue, just the attention he had was probably 10 times more than what Zoloev has today. Yeah. Whenever he was walking, like everyone like pointing with the finger, you know, because Cobra wasn't only a great arm wrestler, he was one of the greatest for sure, but also like the way that he was behaving at the table, outside of table, he was just like showman, you know. He was taking so much attention.
Bigger than life.
Cocky, arrogant, narcissistic mother. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
It was ace. It made a believer. When I was, honestly, I was sold as shit. It was ace. It was like, yes, let's
he was
go.
his own brand. I think he was like Devon Larratt of his time.
Yeah,
about the popularity. Right now, arm wrestling is more popular, but at that time, when you talk about who's the most popular, people over here didn't know who John Brzenk was.
No,
there was no internet. There was nothing. We didn't know much about except those armbender magazines. And John usually didn't compete AAA events, which the organization was publishing the armbender magazines. He was mostly pulling at the east side.
Yeah.
Sorry, west side. West side he was pulling mostly. So, and then all we get was armbender magazines by the AAA, which also was organizing the WAF Wars. So I didn't know. I didn't know who John Brzenk was, like till I moved to US in 1996. But Cobra all over the world was known because he was competing in WAF Wars, and he was the most popular, and then second popular was Sharon Remes, and then people like Zaur and some other Leslie Wims. You know, these guys were very popular guys.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with just the whole demeanor and confidence was the thing. It really made a massive difference. And that would, you know, there's a lot of good arm wrestlers that have gone under the radar in that respect. And it's a shame. I think they get respect from the purest arm wrestlers, but not necessarily. And funnily enough, just to let everybody in the chat know, we're going to be on here for about another 10 minutes and then we're going to jump off, guys. We got way off piste, but it doesn't matter because we enjoyed just hanging out with the guys. And myself and Eric were chatting on the messenger earlier today, and Eric says, going forward, we're going to need to come up with some other angles for things that people would want to see us discuss on Old School. And I'd like to get feedback from the guys that like and watch the show. If you want to send us in, send them to myself, send them to Eric, to Bob. Let us know the situations. I think it'd be good to identify some of the great technical arm wrestlers over the history of the sport, guys who were exceptional in certain areas of the game. By that, I mean people who have had exceptional hooks, exceptional top rolls. Maybe they were exceptional in a strap, in a press, whatever it may be. And I think that would be fascinating for people. And we can maybe throw some light on some of these guys because two we've mentioned in tonight's show that are definitely lesser known names. But anybody that knows the game knows that Vale, if you got tied to Jason Vale, tied up your chin strap. because
Yeah.
that dude was immoral in the strap. If you, for those people who know Gennady Kvikvinia, I'm going to say I am not sure there has ever been a stronger hook than that man, pound for pound. I never saw him lose inside, ever. If the match went inside...
Are you talking about Sharon?
No, I'm
No,
talking
no.
about
Gennady Kvikvinia. Do
Kvikvinia.
you know who Gennady is? Gennady is the young guy that gave you the only trouble when you won 1999 WAF Wars in Vladikavkaz, when the Russians let some of the other top Russians
Oh, that's when I pulled 20 Russians that day.
yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
They were representing other countries with the
Yeah.
you know, fake
They had a
IDs, you know.
spate of doing that from
Is
sort
this-
of
is this the guy in-
1997
the guy
to
in the
2003. They did it a lot. You know, we
The guy
have
in the overalls or the guy in my weight class?
You know, 1999 Wars, that your victory there is one of the best thing ever happened in arm wrestling. And you beat all those guys. They put in a draw that you had to pull all of them one after another. They didn't pull each other on A side. You send them and beat them. You beat them and send them to the B side. And the top guys, in fact, Shamil Karajaev and I think Mundashvili,
there's another one.
you beat them easy. But there was a guy, 17 years old, Gennady Kvikvinia. Remember, you took his wrist, but he put his shoulder behind. You hardly beat him. At the end, with the shoulder press, you beat him. But the same guy later became European and world champion. And after that day, we saw no one taking his wrist.
Yeah.
After that, even Taras Ivakin couldn't take his wrist.
No,
Even Taras
Italy,
Ivakin
the overall, he beat Taras. Mate, that guy's hook.
I would like to see that match. I'd like to show my kids a match that I win.
I think I have the video. I think I have the video. Not me, but
whoa! Yeah. Squeeze me, big powder.
You have the video for Vladikavkaz 99.
Yeah. Also, I think I have the video that where Cobra also.
What are you thinking, Engin?
Listen. He even hung Vaktan Yavahadze, the 200-pound Georgian guy. Even
why are you not getting that on? Get it on.
Hey, can I have that for my YouTube page, Engin, please?
In the overalls, Cobra actually, even in the strap, top roll, the Yavahadze is, I don't know who I explained. Like today is like
Gennady Kvikvinia.
Gennady Kvikvinia, or even like maybe Larratt or something. Not in a stylistic way, but about the level. And then Cobra, 75 kilo guy, he hung him, and the guy was like this. It took like 20-25 seconds that he hardly beat, but he put all of his body, the 200 kilo body, behind his hand, you know.
Yeah, it was
there is one guy usually
get that up on, get it up.
Questions, but somebody just asked me, did your performance against Arthur change the fire? You had to beat him, or did injury leave you still hungry?
What, have we missed a super chat?
Yeah,
Oh, Joe Mama. Joe, thank you for your super chat, mate. Did not see. Good spot, Engin. Jesus, that had gone off the screen. Yeah, Engin, did your performance against Arthur quench the fire you had to beat him, or did the injury leave you still hungry?
Like as long as they don't bury me in the grave and then put the dirt on me and clothes, they should still give an ear, you know. I may still come up, you know, just as long as, you know, I have hand, like this bicep allows me, I can't wait to, you know, pull more and more. And like when I was young, I was like Neil, I was like 65 kilo in the competition venue. I was seeing Alan Karaev. In my mind, I was making plans if I meet him, how to beat him. You understand? So, I mean, I am realistic, but I know that I can't do weird things right now anymore. But I think I proved that under 80 kg, I have a chance to beat anyone. I'm not saying I can beat everyone, but I have a chance to beat anyone. After Arthur match, for me, most important thing was that, you know, if you would hold me, look at my face and beat me 3 times, you understand? I would just say that, Engin, no need to pull anymore because it's over. You understand? You will never catch those guys. But I organized a tournament that, you know, it was very hard, you know, to take them from the airport to organize everything, the COVID test and the hotel and the food and the venue and the sponsor and TV and everything. And while doing that, if I beat him twice before my injury, so it means that I can still continue. I can still, I'm not done yet.
But your ass, you're not done yet. Dude, you might look a little bit old. Tonight, you may have come on looking like you've been dug up.
Did you believe that I was gonna beat Arthur twice like that? You didn't believe, right? You were telling me that I'm gonna beat him, and you were telling me.
Go there with that. You didn't believe, you mother fluffer. I bet on you. What are you talking about, Willis?
You were saying that even if I would give him some trouble, I should be happy with it.
I said, whatever happens, you can't lose. I said he has everything to lose, and you've got nothing to lose, and I stand by that comment.
Right.
When you're in a situation like it's the same as Cobra now. If Cobra comes back into arm wrestling, it doesn't really matter whether he wins or loses. But the opportunity, it's like the only time that the guy with the enormous
it doesn't
do
man.
that. Listen, it's true. If John look at John now, okay? John lived through his prime and absolutely swallowed pressure like it was his job. There was no problem. He just ran over it. It wasn't an issue. Now he'd do the same, but the funny thing is, it's the first time the pressure barometer should be way, way down because you can't possibly lose. I mean, he's pulling a guy like David, who's right in his absolute peak. John been drinking beers and chilling out on the frigging boat with his grandchildren and not done anything for a year. So you the pressure for me is on the young man. And that's the same with Arthur. Arthur, what is his absolute peak? All the pressure was on him. If you'd have come in there and got your ass handed to you, it still kind of wouldn't have mattered. If you came in there and gave him a match, it was wonderful. And if you came in there and won, wow. You know? Now, same thing. You've got to get out of your head, putting pressure on yourself, mate. So if, let's say, your injury's done you serious damage, you come back and just get yourself into entertaining matches. I'd throw you into a match with Svetlana Angashevsky like it was my job if you're down that way. And I'll tell you what,
I will only continue pulling if I am competitive at the that level. And I prove myself that I am still there. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I can still pull against the best guy. I pull with Viorel Dobrin and I pull with Arthur, and I can maybe Bojidar. I don't know whoever is the best from the WAF that we will see. I'm right now technical director of the federation. In 2018, I pulled 25 years at WAF, and I won the last gold in the senior class and finished that. But from now on, only for fun, I will pull. When I say fun, I don't mean like fun, but I will, whoever wins, probably it will be David Samusha or it will be Bojidar. And when they pull at WAF, and I want to pull the winner if I can come back from this injury, and I want to pull one of them, you know.
Well, that's a relatively high bar to put yourself, son.
What's that?
That's a relatively high bar to put yourself. So that's basically, you've internalized what I said and paid all attention. That's what that shows me. So basically, you're going to pull the guy who is pretty much undeniably the very best in the world at that weight.
Yeah.
When you just come back from a blown bicep and you're 107.
Yeah, but even himself, you ask him, he is not confident about winning against me. Coach Ray asked him, he said he's not ready yet. But I don't think about that. I think that, you know, his chances are like 52% minus 48. We pull a lot at the side table, but we can count that. Usually I look better at the side table, which doesn't mean much. But I believe I give him like 52%.
Tall task.
Yeah, it's a very tall task. What you've got to do is...
Tall task. I'll tell you, that just shows like the fiber that Engin's made out of. But I still think a lot of like these new people that are turned on to our sport. Stop me if this discussion's been like overrun with this topic. But people truly don't get it when like you go to a big show in the U.S. or blah blah blah. Oh, there's this Top Gun, that Top Gun. When you walk through a WAF World Championship event, it is unlike you have never been to a tougher competition.
No,
It's just me. I'm not blowing myself because I've been there, but I'm telling you guys, especially you newbies, if don't get carried away with guys that it's a real tough road to go in there and go through all these nations.
Don't get carried away with YouTube champion.
Up to 90 kilo, there is nothing tougher.
no, there is nothing tougher. The WAF is the pinnacle.
I think in 90 kilo, outside of WAF, the only guy that has chance to win medal there is Rob Widget Jr. Other than that, I don't know if anyone can come to the WAF up to 90 kilo can win a medal. I don't know about it. I doubt.
I'm gonna win one in a couple of years. I'm gonna get one.
The people who doesn't pull at WAF.
I'm gonna get one.
Listen, we're gonna have to jump off here, guys. But it's a shame because we were warming up. We should jump back on here really soon. Should we get back on next week? Same crew.
Yeah, but I want to hear Bob Brown talk. I haven't heard him. I learned from Bob Brown, so I want to hear more from him.
Bob, are you available next week, mate?
Sure. Yep. I'm available.
We'll put another.
And if you just Cobra, you can learn how to arm wrestle, and you can learn how to train if you just go to my channel and watch. And finally, you will learn all the stuff you need to know. You know, and maybe you'll come back.
Bob, tell them what you got for this show.
For what?
Tell them what's different about your setup for this show, son.
For my show? For
right now. Your professionalism, Bob. Come on, we talk.
Oh, well, my channel, when I started my channel, I really have no aspirations of like monetizing it or making money off of it. I like the art form of arm wrestling.
Me as well. I concur.
Right. Knowing how to get strong, in my opinion, is boring. I mean, that's been dissected forever. Some people don't want to listen to it. Other people do. I mean, whatever. But learning how to transition from a top roll to a hook, to transition from a press to a hook to a top roll, actually learning different techniques, you know? And here's, like I've said in my show, technique is the sole reason technique exists is to beat a guy that you're not stronger than, right? Like, why do people top roll? Because that person, I can't beat that person in a hook. So I need to learn how to top roll. I mean, that's why we all do technique, is to get around someone else's strength, you know? And I love that part. I love the matches. I'm going to back up a little bit, where this guy almost pins but loses his hand and comes back, and then almost loses and back pressures through the hand and flows in the I love teaching people how to do that. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to try that at practice. That's like a good trick. Yeah, well, you still got to have strength to back it up. I mean, last words from Robert Baxter is Robert Baxter would always want to know, what do I do when I get in this bad position? And a lot of times the answer to the question was, you lose, because there's nothing to do but get stronger. You know,
dude, get this. Carolyn Loomis just came in super chat. You got a love heart, son. You got a love heart from Carolyn Loomis. This is a woman who speaks with emotion, Bob.
Nice. Okay, great.
Not playing games, Bob. Not playing games. And she's put, Bob Brown, your videos and your shop
is to die for, Bob.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you,
Carolyn. There you go, you see. Bringing you the real fans like Carolyn. Not playing games. Also a Chance Shaw fan. Carolyn. Maybe wants to stab me in the eye. But she loves Bob Brown and loves Chance Shaw. Listen, guys. We got to wrap this mother fluffer up because I got to get out and take my son playing football.
Yeah. Can I quickly say something, Neil? Quickly.
No. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah. About the Krasimir versus Vitaly.
Super quickly, I really do.
Yeah, Vitaly looks clear favorite. I have seen them pulling in Istanbul after the Istanbul event, this top 78 kilo. I mean, Vitaly was too much for him, and I don't think neither of them were in their like best shape, because there was no like upcoming super match for them or something. Right now, probably they both are in better form. So on the paper, it looks like it's impossible Krasi to win. But there are some type of people, special people, that they can do, like they believe in themselves. You understand? Like Krasimir, for many years, weighing 102 kilo, he tried to win WAF Worlds in super heavyweights. He didn't win, but in 2016, he actually went to super heavyweight category when he was 102, and he beat Levon there. You understand? So this guy is not a normal guy. So if you are normal, you can't be one of the best ever. You need to be a little bit cracked. So he has it, and he is not only a talker, but he has done a lot. You know, the things that
He is a
yeah.
doer. He is the
So what I'm just trying to say that if something can do like something which looks impossible on the paper, Krasi is that person. On the paper, if you ask me, he has no chance. But he is able to. He is one of those people that can do like something that normally looks impossible, and then
Hey,
he's
you guys,
one of those
I
special
gotta
people.
interrupt, Engin.
Yeah.
I'm
What's that?
the guy that's bagging my stuff. He looks like he could be Chance Shaw's little brother at the grocery.
Go on. Hey!
Can you-
Oh, mate, that's awesome. He's like,
Hello, Chance.
dude, this is magic. That is magical.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, so tell him
like-
Chance Shaw.
What a
I'm
way
so
to
good.
be.
Chance Shaw bags my groceries, baby.
Awesome. Ladies and gents, we got to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for everybody in the chat. Thanks for everybody who was super chatted. Please go and check my guests' channels out. Get over to Cobra Rhodes, who is right there with Skinny Chance. Please get over and check out Engin Terzi's channel. Check out Bob Brown. Get over to the Arm Wrestling Archive and check out the magnificent job done by the amazing Eric Roussin. Ladies and
Hey,
gents,
that was. How about that, huh? Chance
he's
Shaw.
awesome.
Chance,
He's
Chance
awesome.
Shaw bags my groceries.
We're
Awesome.
going to put another show in next week, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep your eye on the channel. We'll be putting advertisement out on that. And until we see you next time on the Supernatural Strength channel, take care, peeps.
All right. See you guys later.
take care, guys. Thank you. It was great to see you guys.